It hasn't been all work and no play here in Vegas. Last night, we got front row to see 80s rock superstars Duran Duran. I showed up a half an hour early so that the Fox business crew could stand there. Yeah, I was the place setter. We were so close to Simon Le Bon, Nick Rhodes, and the band that we sang along with him. There he is holding out the microphone. We had Wall Streeter Peter Schiff, a big gang from Morgan Stanley. The rest of the crowd sang along to Rio, Hungry Like the Wolf. They didn't play Please Please Tell Me Now, though, which totally bummed me out. The salt version of Living the Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Yes, I had a little glow stick crown. What? I had their poster in my dorm room at Berkeley, Duran Duran. We're joined now by a man who knows all about what it means to live that life. Former host of the hit TV show Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, Robin Leach. Great to have you.
It's good to be here. 80s music for an 80s crowd.
Oh, absolutely. But we've got a wealthy crowd here, and they were watching something that just happened. Sotheby's broke a record for the sale of a painting, $110 million.
But it didn't get sold here to this crowd.
Why do you say that?
Because they don't have as much money here this week with the delegates to SALT as they have in the south of France, China, the Russians, and...
That's the painting. What do you think of it? It's a skull.
It's a mess.
It's a $110 million mess, and the buyer, we understand, is a Japanese online entrepreneur, Yusaku Maezawa.
Well, good luck to him. I hope he hangs it in the staff canteen in Tokyo.
Let's talk about how the wealthy are spending differently now than they did back when you were covering Khashoggi and Brooke Shields.
I think they're still spending the money that they spent back then. And I think, you know, in the introduction when you said President Trump is going to make it okay to be rich again, I think that's true. There's been, you know, the previous administration didn't like rich people. They didn't think rich people should exist, and you know they thought they were Robin Hood, where they robbed the rich to give it all away to the poor, which is cruel and an inhumane way of running life, by the way.
You've been a barometer of great wealth and watching every step of it through the late 70s, 80s, 90s. We look at, speaking of President Obama, you say the previous administration, the number of billionaires before and then after. And it's quite apparent that the wealth gap and whatever was done by the Federal Reserve to keep rates very, very low was a big driver of the number of billionaires, as you can see on the screen. 2,043 after President Obama, and before that, 1,125.
Almost a double. Almost a double.
Where are they spending their money these days?
Well, that lunatic spent it on an ugly painting.
Basquiat is gigantic if you're looking in the
Look, you've got a lot of mergers and acquisitions going on where people are spending corporate money to make their coffers even triple in size. You've still got the eccentric billionaires wanting to fly into space and create cars like the Jetsons. So a lot of the expenditure is really in growth, corporate growth that will do good for jobs. But then we also have these people who still want to have the largest yacht in the world, the fastest car in the world, the biggest spaceship in the world. It's not unknown for billionaires to have their own 747 private jets. We don't hear about them. They're not as flashy as the ring from Cartier. But they're spending the money. They are spending the money.
You talked about President Trump. You attended his wedding, his second wedding to Marla Maples. Back then, the 80s...
I think I've attended all of Donald's weddings. There have been many.
But what was that like back then, as you see? I mean, he's known as living in the gilded Trump Tower. There you are, back in the day. Nice tie.
I forget where that was.
That was Marla Maples' wedding.
Look, the image of Donald Trump with gold 24 karat everywhere was really Ivana. Ivana was the woman, the wife who took out the brush and painted everything gold.
How do you see Ivanka in this day and age where world leaders are reaching out to her?
Thank goodness there are babies awake at 3 in the morning so she can't tweet.
Robin?
So she's going to accompany the president on this trip around the world, which I think will be a good thing for him to get out of Washington and get all this nonsense that's going on stopped.
Good to see you. We've got to leave it there. Thank you so much. And before we go, strolling down the Champs-Élysées, Valerie Perrine runs into good friend and mega agent Swifty Lazar. My imitation of Robin Leach. Thank you so much. We'll be right back.